Hey guys, my name is Maria. Today I have come up with a pretty special video. I will be going on #BookTok on TikTok and looking through TikTok's most liked videos with book recommendations. I borrowed this idea from Jack Edwards on YouTube, and he has awesome book videos, and I aspire to create content that is as interesting as his. So, shout out, I guess. Anyways, let's jump right into this video. So here are the TikToks I have found that we will be looking for book recommendations from.
Alright friends, so this is part 2, some books that are perfect to binge read in one day. First up is Stolen by Lucy Christopher. This book is very unique. It's about a girl who gets kidnapped from the airport and is held hostage in the outback. It deals a lot with Stockholm Syndrome, and this book will just twist your mind so many ways. It's so good. Next is City of Ghosts by Victoria Schwab, which is the beginning of a middle grade series. I absolutely love this series, and for being a middle grade, it's actually pretty spooky. It's about a girl who can hear ghosts, and she thought all ghosts were very nice, but when she has moved to Scotland, she realized that that is not the case. Truly Devious by Maureen is one of my all-time favorite trilogies. It's a mystery series that follows 2 separate time periods, the 1930s and present day. In the 1930s, a mystery happens and it is never solved. So in present day, our main character Stevie is determined to solve it. Aristotle and Dante by Benjamin Alire Saenz is one of my all-time favorite books. This story is just beautiful. It is super short and it will just have you flipping the pages and falling in love.
So all of them have more than 200,000 likes, so I'm assuming I can trust these opinions. I have ordered all the books I could find in the library. My Lovely Wife, Sometimes I Lie, Truly Devious Part 1, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and The Woman in the Window. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited to do this challenge. Okay, I am back a month later and I have read all the books that BookTok users have handpicked for me. The rating scale is pretty subjective. Either a book is for the read or not good indeed. Okay, it was the best rhyme I could come up with, so don't judge too harshly. Here's the basic structure of the video. I will go over the 5 books I read and I will be giving my opinion on them. Okay, first I read My Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing, a psychological domestic thriller released in 2019. Here is the synopsis. Samantha Downing's deliciously dark debut crime novel, My Lovely Wife, follows a married couple with a unique way of keeping the spark in their relationship. Serial murder. That's right, this book centers around a pair of ordinary suburban spouses whose date nights involve death. The story is told from the first-person perspective of the main character, and the writing was pretty brilliant, which makes it even harder to believe this is Downing's debut novel. I gotta admit, I couldn't put the book down when I started. Well, I did find some moments in it to be unrealistic, not because of the writing, but because of the situations that were described in My Lovely Wife. But, oh well, not everything can be perfect, I guess. So, here's my personal verdict. Addicting, pretty unputdownable, absolutely amazing for a debut novel. If you're into psychological thrillers, but not horror, you will love this book. For the read. Next, we have Sometimes I Lie by Feeney, also a psychological mystery thriller. This is also a debut novel, and it was released in 2017. So this is the synopsis. My name is Amber Reynolds. There are 3 things you should know about me. 1. I'm in a coma. 2. My husband doesn't love me anymore. 3. Sometimes I lie. Amber wakes up in the hospital. She can't move, she can't speak, she can't open her eyes, but she can hear everyone around her. But they have no idea. Amber doesn't remember what happened, but she has a suspicion her husband had something to do with it. Alternating between her paralyzed present the week before her accident and a series of childhood diary entries from 20 years ago, this brilliant psychological thriller asks, is something really a lie if you believe it's the truth? Sometimes I Lie left me with very, very controversial thoughts. On one hand, the TikTok video didn't lie. The book was indeed unputdownable, and it seemingly had all the elements that would satisfy my hunger for a nice read. However, it just wasn't the best book I ever read. It didn't fully consume me, and the ending was a bit too twisted and unclear for me. I love books with endings that can be interpreted in several various ways, leaving you just on the edge of your seat. However, this was different, as there can be so many interpretations of the ending that no one, literally no one on Goodreads or any other book forum I could find could explain. However, I have seen tons of people protecting this book and not finding its ending exhausting, so I guess taste really is subjective. Okay, my verdict? Weird. Unputdownable, unforgettable, and yet really weird. So do what you want with that info, I guess, but it's not good indeed from me. Moving on to the next book, Aristotle and Dante Explore the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Saenz, a young adult, coming-of-age, queer contemporary romance. This book was a masterpiece. It was my absolute favorite. It wasn't crazy, chaotic, or fast-paced, and compared to the other recommendations, it was really different. My library didn't have the ebook, so I listened to the narration of the audiobook by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Aristotle and Dante Explore the Secrets of the Universe is about two teenage boys with the names of Aristotle and Dante, who one day decide to strike up a friendship at the swimming pool. Aristotle, or Ari, is an angry, lonely teenage boy, and Dante is his peer, who has a highly unusual philosophical way of looking at the world. What I liked about the book was the fact that it was not superficial. It wasn't fake deep or trying too hard to appeal to the audience. It told the tale beautifully and showed a real, organic relationship between these teens who were discovering this world together. So, for the read, all the way. The next book I will be reviewing is Truly Devious, a YA mystery and detective. It is apparently the first book in the trilogy Truly Devious, which was a little upsetting to find out about after I had already finished reading it. So here's the synopsis. Stevie is admitted to Ellingham Academy in Vermont. Not only is Ellingham a free and prestigious boarding school, it is the home of one of the greatest murder mysteries of all time, that of rich entrepreneur Albert Ellingham's wife and daughter in 1936. It seems like a strange reason to be excited, but Stevie studies crime. She reads textbooks and mysteries and listens to true crime podcasts and hopes one day to be a detective. As Stevie settles into her dorm at Ellingham and meets the other eccentric students there, her one-day dream becomes a reality too soon. A student is found dead. Everyone deems the tragedy an accident, but Stevie is not so sure. Naturally, upon first hearing the synopsis, I was really intrigued. Now, you probably are too, unless you're an alien who pretends to be human. The book itself wasn't the absolute best compared to the rest of the books BookTok has recommended so far, and well, it ends at a cliffhanger that I didn't expect. However, I would still say it's for the read because it definitely piqued my interest, and I have already ordered the audiobook of the second part. In the future, I may create a review that's dedicated to this series, Truly Devious, so comment down below if you'd be interested in seeing something like that. And the final book recommendation of the day is The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn, first published in 2018. It's a psychological mystery thriller that has already been brought to the big screens. This is probably the most shocking book of them all, I would say. Here's the brief description. Anna Fox is an agoraphobic woman who lives alone in her New York City home, unable to venture outside. All day long, she drinks wine, watches old movies, recalls happier times with her family, and spies on her neighbors. While living her uneventful life, the Russells move into their house across the way. A father, a mother, and their teenage son. The perfect family. But when Anna, gazing out her window one night, sees something she shouldn't, her world begins to crumble and its shocking secrets are laid bare. The narration is a bit slow in the beginning, but it really paid off in my opinion, because after you cross the halfway point in the book, you will not be able to take your eyes off these pages. I would like to say a couple of other things about the narration, but I won't because I'm afraid it may ruin some plot twists for you. Not everyone who is watching might like the woman in the window. I understand. However, I know that I certainly did. It's for the read from me. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you'd like me to do something else, some other challenge, let me know in the comment section down below. I would really appreciate some ideas and of course, some likes. So give it those. Anyways, okay, bye!